here trying to change the channel.
Crash landing in my soft spot for you got me, sir.
So a couple days ago, I put out a question asking what your guys' thoughts were about Rappertag Season 2. And we had a bunch of replies and a bunch of very interesting takes. So I just want to kind of go through them and kind of just pick out a few things that I found interesting. For anyone who followed Season 1 at the time, it also had a moment where it slowed down and few lesser known names were being tagged and people were not too impressed with them. But it eventually picked back up when a couple big names were tagged and ended up continuing on strong. I say ride it out. But I must say, I did enjoy 10th Dan's tag and hope this is a turning point, or this is the turning point. Interesting take, and we just for context, we are recording this in between 10th Dan's Rappertag and Coots' Rappertag, so after Rappertag 22, so that is a bit of context for when this video is out. You know, if you're viewing this very close to the time of the release, this is going to be a lot more relevant than maybe, let's say, 1 month's time, or perhaps even further in the future. I agree, looking back retrospectively, at least, you know, I went through and watched Season 2 of Rappertag. We've got all the reaction videos up on YouTube, so if you want to go check them out, please do. And yeah, there were points where it did slow down a lot. I didn't feel that as much because I was watching at least 10 of them at a time, so it was less noticeable, but there was definitely times where you could see that the talent almost dropped at a point and then raised back up with some of the bigger names. The bigger names are bigger for a reason, typically speaking. Of course, that's not to say that there aren't people out there with hundreds of thousands of followers that are shit, objectively, and likewise there's people with only hundreds of followers that are absolute gems. And 10th Dan seems to be, for the most part, a turning point for some people in terms of the first one that people have enjoyed in the last few tags. And again, that's no disrespect to the last few, but the people, from what I can tell, I've been saying that they've not been too impressed with Rappertag in the most recent episodes. But I do agree. I think there are going to be roller coasters. There are going to be higher points where, you know, the hype is there and there's more people on it, and there's going to be lower points. I agree. I really do think that that's going to happen. And it'll be interesting to see how long it goes on for to give that a chance to breathe, you know? Are we going to have just one roller coaster moment and it's going to end by episode 30? Or are we going to go through to episode 150? We don't know how long it's going to be, and where there's no capped number at this current point in time, it's difficult to say how many ups and downs we're going to have. I personally agree. I think there will be ups and downs throughout however long it runs for. It's great that a lot of smaller artists can show what they bring to the table. Pretty sure that's what originated this whole idea anyway. Would love to see some bigger artists hop on through, of course. Hop on through, hop on no. I can read. I promise I can read. I agree. 100% I agree. Do you know the amount of people that have said, yo, I've not heard of this artist before and I've gone and checked out more of their stuff, or yo, this, that, and the other. Like, my platform on its own has done it to a small degree as well, you know? I might do a reaction video to someone like an A-Girl or a JC or a, you know, an Amu the MC, and people come through and they're like, yo, I've never heard of this guy or never heard of this girl before or this group. And they're like, yo, I'm really impressed. I'm going to go check out more. So, you know, I can understand definitely where Rappertag comes from in terms of that. You know, the amount, if you read the comments on most of these tags, people are like, yo, I've never heard of these guys. And, you know, they go back and check more. Someone like Dundee, who I thought everyone kind of knew of, at least. Plenty of people are like, yo, I've never heard of Dundee before. Gone and checked him out. Likewise with Greeley's, likewise with Indigo Merkabas, you know. There's plenty of guys here that still are unknown to a wider audience, and even ones like Mitros and Nerve, who you would expect everyone to know, there's still comments and people going, yo, I've never heard of them before. So it's interesting how it appeals to a certain demographic of hip-hop followers and who they are aware of and who they're not. Me, Mr. React to Australia and commentate on everything. There's still been artists like 10th Dan who I have not heard of myself, and when they come through and surprise you in a pleasant way, it's really refreshing and it's really nice to discover new music. This comment backs onto what we was just talking about, and I think it's a really interesting one. There's been a few flops, but the majority have been dope. I've never heard of a few of these dudes, and now I enjoy their music. Honestly, I think the high production values on some of the videos might be off-putting for the unknown dudes and the bigger dudes, because it's a lot of effort, and if you don't have the hookup, it can end up costing money too. it's interesting that people have been talking about production value and almost filming music videos for the Rappertag. I personally agree. I like what Wombat did. I like that you could just tell that it was one take. I like the fact that it was, you know, just done there and then. I like that DIY feel to it. Of course, you can't ever blame someone for trying to put the effort in and, you know, getting the music video and getting the high production value, because to me that shows that they're giving Rappertag the respect it deserves. But at the same time, some of the higher production ones have commonly, from what I can tell online, been the more disappointing ones. And some of the ones that were just done off the cuff have been better. It's difficult, you know. 360s is still, on episode 1, one of my favorite ones of the whole series. And that was just filmed in his studio in his room, you know. And so I personally like the DIY feel to it. And I wonder what the artists themselves think, you know. It's interesting how some artists have included it as part of their music videos, or even Shadow, I believe it was like done as like the behind the scenes, like a second shot to another video that you put out shortly after. I don't know. How do you guys feel about production value? Is it off-putting to actually see an artist film a high quality video with a level of editing? Does that put you off? Last thing I'll say on it is the reason why like Fire in the Booth used to be so reputable and everything is, one, because only a select amount of people could get on that platform in the first place, but also it was that idea of this is just you and the mic. There's nothing else going on. So, you know, the only thing you got going for you is your lyricism, is your flow, is your delivery. What you bring to the table in terms of music is what matters. Nothing like image, nothing like production can change that, you know, and that was 50% of the appeal to it, in my opinion, at least. Anyway, so if this is a freestyle platform, shouldn't it have more of a freestyle feel to it? Nearing its end for this season, I think they should have put a number on it instead of just letting it fizzle out. From what Mitchell said, I'm guessing the other heads around can't be bothered with doing it. It's probs just going to be fringe talent from here. I disagree about fringe talent. I do think we're going to have some high quality, presuming this does go on a little bit longer and allows for that swing around to happen. But equally, it is interesting about putting a cap on it. Is it a smarter idea to say, right, we're going to do one Rappertag a year and we're going to put 50 episodes out, like one a week kind of thing? Or is it smarter to only do 10 for a year? Is it better? I don't know, but I feel then that loses the idea of what Rappertag itself is. And let's say we get to an artist, Mr. Bob, I don't know, I'm throwing out a name. If Mr. Bob then gets tagged in and then doesn't want to do it, what happens there? Does Rappertag just end because of Mr. Bob, or do we tag in more people? Because realistically speaking, you should be able to infinitely run a Rappertag. But why do these rapper trends, why do these freestyle challenges die off? Is it because the hype's died down and not enough people are paying attention? Because I know that there's plenty of artists out there, particularly smaller ones, that will be dying to get on this platform. And so it's interesting. What will be the end of this season? What contributed to the end of season 1? Let me know what you think about that as well. Darcy, this is, you know what, really want to talk about this comment here. It's been a great season. The quality overall has been high. There were some shocking ones in season 1 that nostalgia goggles are doing some work for. I like that, nostalgia goggles. There is also so many more people in the scene now. People always want their favorite rapper to do it, but it might take time to get there. This is the part where I'm really interested. Boom Bap is rising again in the Oz scene, so it will be interesting if the tags stay in that direction or go to some of the younger, fresh drill rap crew. I'm presuming crews. That last bit there is the bit I want to talk about now, because Boom Bap, I don't feel like it's had a little surge of popularity again, and it does feel like there's more people really respecting the foundations of where hip-hop comes from. Now, I know it's super easy to sit here and go, but artists nowadays don't understand what the music was back then, and they don't have the same talent, this, that, and the other, and nostalgia. How far does nostalgia carry that? Because there's artists from, let's say, 2010 that we sit there and go, oh, they're mainstream and it's really cheesy. We sit here 12 laters now and go, yo, that was an absolute rhythm. How much does nostalgia change our opinion on something? You know, Boom bap, I believe, is great for the fact of normally the production is more simple and it allows you to focus on what the artist is saying. That's why I respect boom bap personally. It also reminds me of hip hop from the 80s and 90s. As for the newer, fresher drill rap, let's say, how would you feel if a 1-4 was tagged into Rappertag? How would you feel if a Melbourne or a NASA Nova or a Cahooks was tagged in? How would you, man, feel? Would that feel like Rappertag, or would it feel like something different? Because although Rappertag is to showcase young talent that is currently popping in Australia, how many current active artists are we going to get over time? Because there's been 1 or 2 tags from artists who, don't get me wrong, amazing discographies, massive respect for them in the scene, but are they active now? Are they current? Are they relevant? You know, and that is subjective. That is very subjective, and that's not me taking a dig at anyone in specific. I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate and just kind of sitting on the fence and just kind of trying to poke the bear and get as much conversation going. But how would you feel if someone like that was tagged in? How would you feel if Young and Lips was tagged in? How would you feel if a melodic artist was tagged in? Because if Carney and Muscles are tagged in, Posse Shot are tagged in, no one bats an eyelid, in my opinion. People are excited, people love it, fantastic. I have a sneaky feeling if Young and Lips is tagged in, there's going to be some uproar from some people. Now, equally, I'm sure some people absolutely love it and people are going to go, that's great, and I love the fact that we're getting this, that, and the other, but I also feel like there's going to be some kickback. That's just how I feel, and I hope that doesn't happen if we do get to that point. And I have to say if, because I have a sneaky feeling that those guys aren't being tagged in. And now I want to ask why. Now, I very, very, very highly doubt it's ever from a place of being discriminative or anything like that. I don't think it's anything to do with area codes or race or religion, fucking all of that, right? Let's forget that. Hip-hop's hip-hop, right? But I did put out the comment about a week or so ago saying, where are our Polynesian artists? And if it did get to our Polynesian artists, how long would it stay over that side for? It's just a thought I have. When are we going to get a Nox or a Lissy or a CG Fez? When are we going to get those guys? Are we going to get those guys? Would it feel different if those guys were tagged in? Because for me, as someone who takes in a bit of everything across a wide spectrum across Australia, it's all the same thing for me. But when I speak to some people, some people admit like they only listen to certain sides of hip hop, and I just wonder what the demographic is and what the interest is among the fan base of Rappertag. Is there an acquired taste for what Rappertag is, or is Rappertag literally for anyone? And again, I emphasize the point that it is not from a place of being discriminative or people, you know, I mean, it's not from a place there. I very, very highly doubt it. I just wonder, what is it going to take to cross over that boundary? Because it does feel like there's a divide, and it does feel like there's a boundary between kind of a scene that was active 5 years ago and a scene that's active now. And although we have people like Nerve, people like Chillin' It, you know, there are plenty of artists that are bridging the gap. Who's going to be the one to bridge the gap within Rappertag? I don't know. Am I waffling now? Because, yeah, all right, you've got someone like a 360 who was active 10 years ago. And you've got someone like a Mitchos who's active currently and was active 5 years ago. And then you've got other people who, like Indigo Merkaba, who have only emerged in the last year or two. Is there a difference between those artists? Is there a generational gap? I'm just asking a bunch of these questions, and I just want to see what people think about it. So Darcy, really great comment. I don't want this video to be much longer than it already is, but there's a lot of comments saying that they're angry of how overproduced it is. There's a lot of people saying that they want it to be like the one take from the phone kind of thing and really hear what the artist sounds like, even if it is unmixed and mastered. I've got other people saying about how, you know, they want more reputable names being tagged into Rappertag that will get the respect back there. There's a couple of people who enjoy these unknown artists because they're being, you know, they're being shown new music and whatnot. Ultimately, we know that you're not going to be able to please everyone. But I do agree that there does feel like there needs to be a small change, if not just a little bit of a rise. Maybe us as fans need to just be more patient. I'm not super mad with where Rappertag is at the moment, but I can definitely understand the sentiment behind where some people are coming from. I also fully understand where people who are enjoying it right now. I am somewhere in the middle of it all, and so it's just interesting to see both sides of the argument. I don't know. Underneath the comment of the comment section of this video, feel free to add on to some of these comments. And if you want to see the original community post, it is up on the channel somewhere. Just look in the community feed, you'll see it. If you want to see all of the original comments, and yeah. Let me know what you think, because it is very, very interesting to see the discussions that are happening around Rappertag. But ultimately, it comes from a place of love, and it's because we do want to showcase some of the best talent from Australia. But I do want to end on this note. Thank you, Rappertag, for, you know, still being active in a time in the back end of 2021 during lockdown where a lot of artists weren't putting out music because of not being able to film videos, because of labels restricting them during COVID, etc., because of people unable to travel or studios not open. I do thank Rappertag for carrying a lot of the releases that happened in the last quarter of the year. I also thank them for putting me on to some of the newer artists, and this whole discussion here is definitely not from a place of hate, not from a place of hateful criticism. It is from a place of just wanting to have a discussion to see what the people want, though, because there is clearly a lot of people grumbling and a lot of people whispering about whether they want to stick with it, whether they dislike it. And, you know, I think it does come from a place of people really did and still do, a large portion of people respect Rappertag. And I think people just don't want to see the respect lost for it, and they don't want to see it just die out like that. And so it's almost like the people are fighting for it. It feels like, to me anyway. I don't know. Let me know what you think.